tuning in. I'm Margaret Hunter-Wade, and you're watching Cox Connections, only on Cox 9. Created in partnership with the Trust for Public Land, the Cox Conserves Heroes program recognizes local environmental volunteers and makes donations to local nonprofits on their behalf. This year, out of 3 nominees, Brian Badiger was chosen as our Cox Conserves hero. Joining me today is Brian, along with Steve Waterman with the Virginia Cox Conserves Council. Thanks so much to both of you for being here.
Good to be here. Thanks.
So let's start off quickly. Steve, if you can tell us just a little bit about the Cox Conserves initiative here at Cox Communications.
Sure. The Cox Conserve initiative is actually started by our parent company, Cox Enterprises, looking at ways of reducing our carbon footprint. We look at fleet management, we look at opportunities to conserve water, natural resources, and really it's about being good stewards of our environment.
And part of Cox Conserves, or something that's branched off externally, is the Cox Conserves Heroes program. So tell us a little bit about that and what that program is all about.
Sure. Again, it's part of our Cox Enterprises program in partnership with the Trust for Public Land. And really it's looking at volunteers within our communities that help support the environmental changes and opportunities to create shared spaces in our communities.
And this is quite an honor to be chosen as the Cox Conserves hero. A lot of work goes into it.
It sure does, yeah.
So how's the winner chosen? Exactly what did this program look like?
It really starts with a call to action where we ask communities to nominate folks within their areas that they feel are deserving of this award. Once we receive nominees, a panel gets together and looks at those nominees and chooses one person from each of our markets. Brian was chosen from the Roanoke area, and we had 2 other nominees from Hampton Roads in Northern Virginia, and they were chosen, and then there was a call to vote, and voting occurred online, and Brian ultimately was chosen as the hero for Virginia.
Excellent. So that brings us to you, Brian. Congratulations.
Hi, thanks.
So now that, I mean, you knew going into it all the work that was involved, but how does it feel to have been named the hero?
I was really excited and kind of surprised.
Great.
There's a lot of competition.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of work that went in both on your behalf and on folks kind of voting for you and rallying behind you.
A whole bunch of people apparently voted, which is great.
Absolutely. So the work that you do that got you to this point, tell us about it.
So I do trail work on the weekends mostly. I lead a trail crew. We work on natural surface trails mostly. Been focusing on Carvin's Cove, and we've been working on some new trails. Right now working on the Rock and Roll Trail, and it's a brand new trail, 2 miles long. It's going to connect 2 trails together where right now people go down the fire road. They'll be able to take a trail instead of the fire road. And we're building a trail like on a side hill, so it's really sustainable, and picked a really nice route. There's a lot of rocks around that we're going to be working around. And
very good.
Should be an exciting trail.
So you spend a lot of time doing this. What is the motivation behind all this work? I mean, how many hours, do you know how many hours you volunteered?
Well, I think in the last 10 years or 12 years, it's been about 1,700 hours.
Okay, that's incredible. And most people don't give that much time of themselves for a project, so obviously there's something motivating you.
Well, I love the trails.
Yeah.
I actually moved to Roanoke because of there's so many trails around here in the forest around Roanoke. I was up in Indiana before I moved here, and I really like this area. And it's just a matter, I like to hike and bike on the trails, and I like them to be nice, and so I just feel like I should do my part to help maintain them.
Excellent. Well, Roanoke's very fortunate that you chose us because we've benefited greatly from your work, as has the community. $10,000 has now come to Roanoke on your behalf. And what organization did you select?
So I selected Pathfinders for Greenways.
Okay. Naturally. Seems like a good fit. So tell us about them as an organization.
So they were founded to promote the greenways in the area and to help find funding for them, and to provide volunteers to help do some of the work on the greenways, like build the kiosk and put benches in, do landscaping, and do some of the crusher run type of greenways, like the Wolf Creek greenway. We
All
actually
right.
helped build. Then that group is also doing natural surface trails kind of on the side. And that's the part that I'm really interested in.
So folks that might not know what that means exactly, what's the difference?
So the greenways are usually, most of them are paved with asphalt, or they're the crusher run, and they're wider trails and really heavily used within the city. And they can usually connect parks together. And then within the parks, we have narrower trails, 2 foot, 3 foot wide, that have dirt surface. So that's the natural surface trails.
And that's
the area that I'm most interested in. I enjoy those trails. I like the greenways too, and we're obviously doing a lot with that part of the group also. But I enjoy the dirt trails more.
So these natural surface trails require a lot of equipment. So what's in store for Pathfinders and the money you've raised?
So we were really happy to get the money because we're in the process of buying a bunch of rock working tools, because the 2 new trails we're working on at Carvin's Cove have a lot of rock, and you have to get through it. You have to shape it, maybe put some different size rocks on top of other rocks to be able to make the path. And we need to be able to cut the rocks. So we're going to buy some rock drills. They're about $500 to $800 a piece, and we are going to buy some wedges and some winches and different tools we need to move the rocks around and cut the rocks.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a good use for your money that you earned for Pathfinders, and we appreciate all the work you do. Steve, we appreciate your coming on and telling us about Cox Conserves. Y'all keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Thank you. To learn more about Cox Conserves or Pathfinders for Greenways, visit them on the web at the address on your screen. Before you go, I want to personally thank you for choosing Cox Communications for your entertainment, information, and communications needs. We know you could have chosen another provider, but because you chose us, we promise to provide you with quality products backed up by a talented local team of professionals. I'm Margaret Hunter Wade, and we'll see you next time on Cox Connection.